tend to believe that most elementary teachers spend way too much time looking at data and too little time doing anything about it. So the teacher's time is limited, so they're disaggregating the data, and by the time they get it disaggregated, we have the next data there to disaggregate. So my always issue is, I want to look at data, and I want people to help me look at data, so I'm always looking for coaches and people who understand it at a whole better level than I was actually with a woman yesterday. I'm working with a school that wants to improve science in performance on the 8th grade test. The state gives an 8th grade test, Texas gives an 8th grade test, but there's no test in 6th and 7th grade. So we currently have no data on kids' 6th and 7th grade science abilities, and we're trying to get it to be better than 8th. Anyway, the long and short is, I got the science person in their district to make up a test for me. And you would swear I gave this lady a diamond ring. I mean, she came to me, oh my God, I got to make a science test. And it was correlated with all the, I mean, she talked a whole half hour of nothing that I understood, other than she promised me that 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids could take this test. We could measure where you were in 6th grade, and we could document that what you did in your classroom was impacting as you moved from 6th to 7th to 8th. Okay? She was that excited about it. Okay? So I'm not that person, that's what I want you to know. So, but I'm always looking for what causes you problems. So when I looked at this, a problem jumped out at me. You know, I'm looking here with the 51 and the 74, and here with the 98 and 94. I didn't even know what it meant. But when I looked over here and said, they're both scoring proficient over there. Okay, and would you say again what, because you know exactly what it was.
The first column is just the national percentile for words read correctly on the RCVM, and the second column is the percentage of accuracy when reading those words correctly, minute accurately.
Okay, so here I got a kid who's at 94% accuracy versus 74% accuracy, but they're coming out proficient. Okay.
Yeah, it's not, it's kindergarten.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, it's kindergarten. Okay.
It's percentage,
I'm
there's
sorry.
percentile of letter sound fluency and a percentile of letter name fluency.
Okay,
It's
close, but it's still the same issue.
It's 2 percentiles.
My issue is, if you're a teacher planning instruction for these two kids, you're planning dramatically different instruction. Am I accurate there? Meaning, this kid needs time in activities that are different from the activities this kid needs time in. So, you know, to me, I tell people, look at the data till you find something that bothers you. As soon as you find something that bothers you, so, when I jumped at this and I saw, well, this kid gets it and that kid doesn't, and this seems like a big difference, so that would cause me to start asking the questions. So from the do fours, number one, it's a team. Number two, it is results oriented. That means I've got to have goals, so I'm measuring my success against the goals. The third item is that in learning communities, the focus switches from being on teaching to being more focused on learning. So what most teachers did in grade level teams was focus on teaching. The pacing guide says here's where we need to be. Here's the standards we need to meet, what lessons will we design. Here's the dates that the assessments are due. Here's what we're going to do to get ready for the assessments. Okay, now, please hear me, I'm not saying that those aren't conversations you need to have. But as you become more of a professional learning community, much more of the conversations are based on driving those teaching decisions by studying student learning. So back in the work that I did with the coaches and the principals from the time I arrived here, was the focus had to be on student behavior. What is the student doing that's producing the student achievement? So I started pushing this out there. Teachers do not cause student achievement. Students cause student achievement. It's not what the teacher did that caused your achievement to go up. It's what the student did. That means the job of the teacher is to get the student to do what they have to do. My job isn't figuring, I don't teach the kid this, I teach the kid the strategies, and when he practices the strategies, he develops the skill. Is it fair to say you folks teach reading strategies? You don't teach a kid how to read. The kid has to work with the strategies you taught and develops as a reader. Pretty close to the way the soccer coach can't teach kids soccer. She can teach kids soccer strategies, which the kids work with, and they develop into soccer players. You teach reading strategies that the kids work with, and they develop into readers. So it all came down to the work that I've been keep putting back in front of everybody. It's about identifying the student behaviors that are necessary to get the achievement, and then identifying the teacher behaviors that are most likely to get the student behaviors. So I've been using this approach with folks. When a team sits down, the team says, here's the student achievement outcome we want. Okay, kids need to be able to balance this equation. Kids need to be able to sound out consonant, vowel, consonant sounds. Okay. What do students have to do that would cause them to succeed at this? Now that I know what students have to do, now I'm ready to come over here and decide what will I do as a teacher that causes kids to do this, that produces this. So if I'm modeling a writing strategy, if I'm doing a read aloud, the purpose of my read aloud is to get the kids to do something. What is it the kids are doing? And it's what the kids are doing that's producing this piece. Now, I use this with classroom teachers and PLCs designing the entry of a unit of study. But I'm suggesting it's exactly true for you for the remediation of a single student. Here's a student in Tier 2. The thing that's stopping that student from moving to Tier 1 is fluency or vocabulary. Whatever it is, that's what we stick up here. So we don't tell the classroom teacher what he needs is to improve his fluency. What we want to tell the classroom teacher is he needs to do this. Here's 8 different things, which if he does them, will cause his fluency to go up. And what do you know as a specialist? Well, you know the strategies to use here to cause this. And I'm believing that a big chunk of your specialist, which I believe, by the way, is the most difficult part of teaching, the most difficult part of teaching is figuring how to get from here to here. I describe it, the hardest work that teachers do is when kids are not present. It's when that struggling reader walks away from you and you go, oh my God. What does he need? What does he have to do? And how am I going to get him to do it? That's the hard work. Once you figure that out, sitting down with a kid in a group, that's a piece of cake. It's figuring it out. That's where the hard work is. And I'm thinking that's the specialist part that you play on the team. And if the teachers are struggling with what they have to do here to make that happen, that's why we're going to be calling the coaches in. How are we going to get that to develop, to happen? And I like the idea of a push-in program, because now if you push in and you do it in the classroom, the teacher can watch you do it. Right? There's no law against teachers watching, am I right?
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
There wasn't a thing on that list that said no teacher can join your group unless she qualifies for Title I.
That's a good edge to push.
Well, yeah, it's a perfect. By the way, I did check the word out. You can do push-in programs. And in your pushing program, it is okay for non-Title I kids to be around you incidentally. They aren't, I checked it out, went right to the attorney's source here that we got available, incidentally, okay? So here's where you're having your group. So the teacher happens to place the student today's seat right here. The kid who she knows in no way is going to read his book, he's going to listen to what's going on over here. I'm getting the head nod from the attorney. She said we're okay. Matter of fact, I can imagine that the teachers pulled 3 of those kids and she has them here. They're running on a 6-second delay. You're having the other group over here, she's going to these 3. Did you get that? Do you need me to repeat it? What's the critical part here is we want to get the student behaviors. So what do we got to do over here to get the student behaviors here, because this is what's going to produce that. Take a few moments. Go ahead.